So first, the premium ANC headphone market, and those are headphones that retail for around $350, got really competitive. But now, I think the mid-tier ANC headphone market is about to get really competitive as well, because Microsoft just slashed the price on their new Surface headphones too, and JBL just released their new Club 950 NCs. But then, there are the Sony XB900Ns, which are a year old now. But these are still a great pair of mid-tier ANC headphones. So first off, there's price. All three of these headphones retail for $250, but like I just mentioned, since the XB900Ns are now a year old now, they routinely like to go on sale, and they can usually be found on sale for $178, making them a steal at that price. But depending on your needs, you might be better off with one of these other two headphones. Nonetheless, if you want to pick any of these headphones up, they'll be linked down below. Now, even though I really do like and recommend the Sony XB900Ns, one of the things that I don't like about them is that they come included with a carrying pouch, whereas both the Club 950 NCs and Surface Headphones 2s come included with a hard-shell carrying case. Now, even though the Surface 2's case is very large in general, personally I do prefer this case over the JBL's case because the Surface 2's case has room for storing your cables. But what I'm getting at here is that if you're looking for a pair of headphones to constantly commute with, and if you do decide to go with the XB900Ns, you're gonna have to invest in a hard-shell carrying case. But now let's talk about build quality, and this is something the Club 950 NCs excels at. These headphones are built like a tank. These headphones are using very dense plastics, they have exposed stainless steel arms, and the leatherette on these headphones doesn't feel half bad. Where these other two headphones are mainly just made out of plastic, but they still have great build quality nonetheless. But when it comes to fit and comfort, this is my biggest gripe with the Club 950 NCs. Even though the JBLs have amazing build quality, they are very heavy. The Club 950 NCs weigh in at 372 grams, which is a lot, whereas the Surface 2s weigh in at 293 grams, and the XB900Ns weigh in at 252 grams, which is what most other headphones weigh in at. So all of this extra weight on the JBLs does lead to posterior neck pain from just having to hold these headphones up. And these headphones are also very noticeable whenever you're just walking around with them on, or even when you just turn your head. But let's say you're able to put up with the extra weight on the Club 950 NCs better than I am. Another problem with the JBLs is that their headband has very little padding. Combined with the fact that these headphones weigh in at 372 grams, this headband does like to create a hot spot on the top of your head rather quickly. Now, the Surface 2s also like to create a hot spot on the top of your head because this headband also has very little padding. But I can usually go about an hour straight with these headphones on before having to take a break. But if you are looking for the headphones here with the best comfort, then hands down the XB900Ns are the winners here. First off, these headphones have a lot more padding underneath their headbands, so hot spots aren't an issue with these headphones. These headphones also have the least amount of clamping force here, so these headphones are very easy to forget that you even have them on. And the ear cups on these headphones are also very spacious, so they should have no problem fitting most people. But if you do have larger ears or ears that stick out a lot, then you might be better off with the Surface 2s, because they do have the most spacious ear cups here. And for comparison, even though the Club 950 NCs do have spacious ear cups, they are the most cramped here by comparison. So overall, comfort-wise, the XB900Ns are a no-brainer. But if you do have larger ears, then you might want to go with the Surface 2s. Now, when it comes to tech specs, all three of these headphones charge via a USB-C port. But just keep in mind, all of these USB-C ports are strictly used for charging. You can't use any of these USB-C ports as a wired connection like you can with some other headphones out there. Now, regarding battery life, the XB900Ns have an advertised battery life of 30 hours with their ANC turned on, whereas the JBLs have an advertised battery life of 22 hours and the Surface headphones too have an advertised battery life of 20 hours. Now, even though both the Surface 2s and JBLs do have okay battery lives, the standard these days is more around 25 hours of playback time. So I do feel that both of these headphones could use some battery life improvements. Now, when it comes to Bluetooth connectivity, both the Surface Headphones 2s and JBLs can be connected to two devices at the same time, which could be important for some power users out there who want to be able to hot swap from one device to another. But the Surface Headphones 2s are able to hot swap from one device to another much faster than the JBLs, because with the JBLs, it does take them a few seconds to realize that it's time for them to switch. Whereas the XB900Ns can only be connected to one device at a time, so you can't easily hot swap from one device to another like you can with the Surface 2s. Now ultimately this isn't a huge deal, but it is nice to be able to quickly switch from one device to another. Now, when it comes to watching movies or videos on your phone, both the Sony's and Surface Headphones 2 have zero latency across the board, whether you're using an iPhone or an Android device, which is good. Whereas with the JBLs, they do have a noticeable latency to them whenever you watch YouTube videos on an iPhone, but everything else about them is just fine. But finally, I do want to point out that all three of these headphones still have an easy-to-reach audio jack. Now I know this sounds basic, but I do want to point it out because some companies are starting to remove the audio jack on some of their headphones. Some companies do it because they're trying to push forward this all-wireless future like they did with the Beats Solo Pro, and some other companies do it as a cost-saving measure. But now let's talk about listening to music with these headphones. Now, all three of these headphones have a fully customizable EQ, so you can make them sound however you want. But I do feel the Surface 2s are the worst sounding headphones here. Now with their stock EQ, the Surface 2s sound decent and they should be able to please your average user. They have pronounced vocals and they also have a decent amount of bass to them. And the bass on these headphones is going to rattle your head a decent amount. But the problem with these headphones is that if you listen to a lot of bass heavy music or if you have the volume set too high, then their bass will occasionally bottom out even when you're using their stock EQ. And if you were to go into these headphones app and raise the lows and mid-lows, then they're going to bottom out even more frequently. So personally, I just recommend that you use these headphones with their stock EQ, or if you are going to adjust their EQ, then I wouldn't raise the lows or mid-lows too much. But then there are the JBL Club 950 NCs, which also have a very similar stock EQ to the Surface 2s. Strong mids, punchy bass, but more importantly, the bass on these headphones doesn't bottom out nearly as much as the bass on the Surface 2s. It still does happen, but it's very rare and it's only for a split second. It's nowhere near as bad as the Surface 2s. So overall, I do think these headphones are people pleasers because if you like a neutral EQ, you can do that, or if you like a bass heavy EQ, you can also do that. Now, these headphones also have a bass boost mode, but the bass boost on these headphones is more on the audible side, meaning that these headphones aren't going to start to physically rattle in your head like the bass on the XB900Ns do. Having the bass boost on the JBLs turned on is like having the bass slider on the XB900Ns set to 3. And overall, I really do prefer to listen to music with the XB900Ns here, because if you like a lot of head rattling bass, these headphones can give you that, which is a lot of fun. Or if you like a neutral EQ and you don't want to use the extra bass feature on these headphones, you can also do that. But also, I really like the extra bass feature on these headphones because if you use it while watching movies, it does add an extra level of immersiveness. It's kind of like having your own private subwoofer strapped to your head. And unlike the bass on these other two headphones, the bass on the XB900Ns never bottoms out even when you have their extra bass slider maxed out. But the XB900Ns aren't all about bass. These headphones still have decent instrument separation and a decent soundstage. So overall, sound-wise, I do recommend the XB900Ns here because they do sound good, but they also have that extra bass feature if you want it. But now I do want to quickly address the media controls on these headphones. Now, the JBLs are using physical buttons, so if you don't want to have to deal with the touchpad, then the JBLs have you covered. Whereas the XB900Ns have a touchpad. Now, the touchpad on the XB900Ns is very easy to use and it's very accurate. And I also feel that this touchpad is easier to use than the touchpad on the 1000 XM3s, because my finger glides much easier on this all-plastic ear cup. But occasionally, there are missed inputs. And then there are the Surface headphones too, which have a hybrid setup. And this setup is a really good medium between the previous two setups. The physical dial on these headphones allow you to quickly and accurately adjust the volume on these headphones, and since the touchpad on these headphones simply register taps, their accuracy is very good as well, because usually other touchpads tend to mess up when you have to register swipes. So overall, I really like the controls on the Surface 2s, but Sony's touchpad is good as well, and it's not problematic like on some other or older touchpads out there. But now let's talk about the active noise cancellation on these headphones, because this is where the Surface Headphones 2 simply just dominate. To be frank, it's not even fair, and I think this is Microsoft's strategy for dominating the mid-tier ANC headphones market. But so that you can see for yourself, we're going to jump into an ANC test. So like you may have just seen, the Surface 2 simply just block out the most amount of noise here, period. With the Surface 2s, you're getting premium ANC headphone performance for mid-tier prices. Now the ANC on both the Bose NC700 and Sony 1000 XM3s outperforms the ANC on the Surface 2s. But if you don't want to spend the big bucks and you want to block out the most amount of noise possible, then the Surface 2s are the way to go. Now with the Surface 2s, there is a little bit of cabin pressure when you're not playing music through these headphones. But the cabin pressure isn't unbearable like the cabin pressure you might find on the Bose QC35s. So if you're looking for the headphones here with the best active noise cancellation, then the Surface 2s are simply a no-brainer. Now, all three of these headphones have an ambient mode, but performance-wise, I think the Surface 2s have the worst performing ambient mode here. Unfortunately, the ambient mode on the Surface 2s does like to pick up a lot of wind noise when you're walking outdoors, so you are going to hear a lot of interference in your music, and this ambient mode also sounds very unnatural. Whereas the ambient mode on these other two headphones sound much more natural, and they both do a much better job of blocking out wind noise when walking outdoors. But ultimately, I do prefer the XB900N's ambient mode here because you can adjust how much sound these headphones let in. Now, both the Sonys and JBLs have a conversation mode where they will lower the volume of your music and let in all of the ambient sound around you so that you can quickly talk to someone without having to remove your headphones, like this. But personally, I do prefer JBL's method because once it's activated, your hands are free. Whereas with Sony's method, you have to constantly keep your touchpad covered, which is both uncomfortable and awkward. And even though the Surface 2s don't have a similar feature, they do have proximity sensors, so they'll automatically pause your music when you remove them. But finally, here's the microphone test, and I actually do think that the Sonys have the worst performing microphone here. Because first off, it sounds very muffled, which is very classic Sony, but also this microphone isn't really doing much to block out this AC unit. Whereas the microphone on the Surface headphones 2 does a much better job of blocking out that AC unit. And when it comes to my voice, it does do a better job of isolating my voice. But my voice does sound very bass heavy, and S's do like to peak sometimes. But finally, there's the microphone on the JBL Club 950NCs, which actually doesn't sound all that bad. Now, this microphone does a much better job of picking up just my voice, and it also does a much better job of blocking out that AC unit. Because if we were to switch over to my lapel microphone, you're going to clearly hear that AC unit. But if we switch back over to the JBLs, not as much. Now, the microphone on these headphones isn't the best one out there, but it's still pretty good. But with all that being said, performance-wise, I think the JBL Club 950NCs are decent. But for me, it's just very hard to recommend these headphones because they're very uncomfortable. At 372 grams, you never forget that you have these headphones on, and due to their very little padding underneath their headband, these headphones do like to create a hot spot on the top of your head rather quickly. The real comparison here is going to boil down to the Sony XB900N and the Surface headphones 2. I think the Surface headphones 2 are the best mid-tier ANC headphones that you can get if active noise cancellation is your main priority. You're getting premium ANC performance for mid-tier prices. But these headphones only sound good enough to get the job done, and I still can't help but wish that these headphones had more padding underneath their headband for better long-term comfort. So, even though they're a year old now, I still feel the Sony XB900N are the best mid-tier ANC headphones you can get right now. First off, the XB900Ns are very comfortable to wear for hours on end without any problems, and their ear cups should be able to accommodate most people. These headphones also sound decent, but they also have that extra bass mode if you want it. Now, the active noise cancellation on these headphones is average for mid-tier ANC headphones, but at least they have very little cabin pressure, and their ambient mode is very good as well. My only gripe about these headphones is that they come included with a carrying pouch instead of a case. But if you get these headphones on sale and you buy your own case, you're still winning. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit that like button and get subscribed. It helps out more than you realize. If you want to pick another products up mentioned in this video, those will be linked in the description down below, and you can also support the channel by checking out the merch store. But other than that, I'll catch you next time.